So today's our class is on tenses common errors. What are tenses common errors? First, obviously, the understanding of the present, past, and future impact. So today we are going to talk only on the concept that where we lose out the marks. If the question comes for 5 on 5, then again we are losing our 5 marks and gifting it to the teacher. So just to avoid that, we are going to focus on the major mistakes that we do. For present tense, in if we talk about simple present, we always talks about the facts, information that always remains the same. Like Delhi is the capital of India. I'm a teacher. So these things which always remains forever, the fact, the universal facts, the scientific facts, or the state of being, such things go for simple present tense. Then we have present continuous. Present continuous is basically for talking about that how we are using the concept of present continuous that is in process. Like I'm speaking, you all are listening. This is very simple to understand that the present continuous is while when we are using the concept of these words at the moment, now, so we are doing today. So these are your present continuous. Now present perfect means action finished. Many students get confused between present perfect and simple past. So what is the difference between present perfect and simple past? Present perfect means the action that is finished and has a relation with the present. Simple past means action which is finished, but a precise time period is given in the past. So that is your simple past. So present perfect means action finished in with link with the present, and your simple past means action which was finished earlier and the time duration is mentioned that when did the action finish. So that will be clearly mentioned when actually the action got finished. For example, you will be given yesterday, ago, 10 years ago, or any such time period where it's clearly precise that we are talking about the past, then only you have to use simple past. If I have just visited France, so that is you have just visited France, you've just gone to France, you have never been to France. So these are the expressions where we have just done that action. I've just started explaining tenses topic. So that I have already started. So action is finished, action is started already, but it's linked with the present. That's why we are using the concept of present perfect. And then we have present perfect continuous. Many students get confused with the term. Suppose I have mentioned for the last 3 days. Just because the word last has come, the students think, ma'am, it is in past, so we have to use past. No. For denotes your perfect continuous action. And here the last 3 days means the action started 3 days back. The action started 3 days back and is still in process. That's why we are using present perfect continuous. So present perfect continuous means the action which started in the past and is still in process. So we are using present perfect continuous. Now, how to understand the formation of these tenses? The formation of these tenses is very simple. That is, the first is simple present, SES, or using of SES is precisely only with he, she, it. Many students ask me, ma'am, it is with singular. No, this is third person singular. I'm precising it is third person singular. Now, what is third person? First person is I and we, second person is you, and the third person is he, she, it. So third person singular, only with third person singular, we are using the term SES like goes. But with you, we have go and I and we with go. So this is with only third person singular, we use SES, else we don't use SES in the simple present tense form. Next, how to use the formation in simple present, we use we will. plus SES only with the third person singular form. Next we have present continuous is MR plus V1 plus ing. Then we have present perfect has have plus V3 and the present perfect continuous has have plus V1 plus ing. So this is very basic concept that you obviously know till. So, but how to do the past tense? V1, remove V1 and just convert it to V2. Remove is MR, just convert it to was were. It became past continuous. Remove has have with had and it has turned to past perfect, had plus V3. Again remove has have with had, it has turned to past perfect continuous, had plus been plus ing. Sorry, I just forgot to write had been. Has have plus been plus ing and it is had been plus ing. Now, how to convert the same present tense into future? That is, in place of V1, we'll add will shall plus V1. So will shall means basically your will. Will is important factor to understand your future tense. Then ismr, you should know that ismr is your be verb. Many students don't even know when in question they come across the verb be in bracket. They get confused that what to fill. So they end up doing been or been. They don't know that be is a ismr verb. So in the case of be, you have to use will be plus ing. That will turn to future continuous. And then what is the has have future? It is will have plus V3. Again, it gets converted to future perfect. Will have plus V3. So if you notice, we're not changing the main verbs. We're just changing the auxiliary verbs, the helping verbs only. Then it is changing. And then again, had will change to will have and be plus ing. So they automatically, it's very easy just by changing the auxiliary verbs. You can switch to another tenses. This is clear, the concept. Now let's talk about what are the major mistakes that we do. So till now I have explained you simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous. The same thing happens with simple past tense. Precise time period is given in the past and you're going to talk about that this is simple past. So yesterday, a month ago, anything. Very clear time period is mentioned. So we are going to use simple past. Action finished. But how to use it in past perfect? Very important to know. Your past perfect is not possible without simple past. If there is no simple past in the sentence, you are not allowed to use past perfect. That means if there's no simple past and you think that past perfect should come, that means you have to use present perfect over there, not past perfect. Past perfect is incomplete without simple past. Unless and until there is a sentence which is having simple past, then only you're allowed to use past perfect. Else, never ever use past perfect without simple past. This is one of the very important things. Next, to move ahead with past continuous, already we use the indicators while, when. So these are the indicators of your past continuous. I was cleaning my wardrobe while my son was watching TV. Okay. Next, we have past perfect continuous. Again, when you're given certain time period, fixed time period, since for is given, or simple past is given and since for is given, then you use the past perfect continuous because in that condition, you know the time duration of that process, when it started and when it ended. So what is the difference between present perfect continuous and past perfect continuous? In present perfect continuous, you have the action started in the past and is still in process. It has not ended. We are not being told कि वो खत्म हो गया. But in past perfect continuous, the action started in the past and ended in the past itself. So there's a time duration during which the action was in process, and that's why we use past perfect continuous. Next, very important, that is the future tense, which is nowadays very very active in the tenses. That is for simple future, obviously. It's very simple to understand, but future continuous, when you're given a fixed time period, when you're given a fixed time period plus future time reference, like at 3 p.m. tomorrow, at 3 p.m. tomorrow, I will be eating my lunch. So we are precising fixed action, fixed time period, plus we know it's going to take place in future. So we are using at will be eating. Next, we have future perfect. Future perfect is always used with by. Whenever you come across any by, it sense that what you have to use that. By. By is a fixed time. So what you are using? By plus your any time period, like by 3 p.m. It can be by tomorrow, by next month. So it can be by any time period plus. So in that case, you have to use future perfect. One more, we have the case when we have future perfect, we use by plus simple present action also. So in that case also we use future perfect. By the time my daughter arrives, I will have baked a cake for her. So what concept I have used? Ki by the time my daughter arrives, by the time plus simple present, I will have baked the cake. Will have baked, future perfect for her. So this is to be action to be completed in the future, and when my action will be completed by the time my daughter arrives, simple present. And then if we add the same thing, if we add since for, then it converts to future perfect continuous. By the time or by next month, yeah, by the time I'll be 30, or by the time by next month, I will have been teaching English for more than 15 years. Okay? Or by the time by the end of this year, I will have been staying in this house for 10 years. So what I'm using, अभी नहीं, अभी 10 साल नहीं हुए इस घर में रहते हुए. कब होंगे? जब इस साल का end आएगा. That is right now we are in Feb, and by the time it's going to be the end, that is December, it will come. तो December में जाकर 10 years होंगे. So according to the calculation, अभी सिर्फ 9 years complete है. But we are saying कि कोई पूछता है how much time, तो हमें 10 साल हो जाएंगी by the time it's the end of the year. So this is how you have to understand. Now let's talk about the major flaws that the students make in the sentences as per the exam pattern. So here we have the first concept where the students make the mistake is first action, past perfect, and simple past. So this is to understand that first sentence या first blank हमेशा past perfect नहीं होगा. You have to understand, read the sentence, and then get to know that what is your first action and what is your second action. There only you will be able to get to know that this is your past perfect and this is your simple past. So for your simple past and past perfect, always make sure to understand the sentence that which is the first action. The doctor arrived when the patient had died when the doctor arrived. Okay, this is the patient had died, patient मर गया जब तक doctor. Yeah, the doctor arrived when the patient had died. Here I have used the past perfect later. But दोनों action में that depends कि doctor पहले आया कि patient पहले आया. That you should understand. आपको blank पे focus नहीं करना. अच्छा पहला blank past perfect. Don't do that silly mistake. Okay. One more thing I told you, if already simple past is given, always use past perfect according to the sentence. It can be past continuous also, depending on the type of sentence. But maximum time we have to use it past perfect if you think the action is already completed and before that, मतलब simple past, whatever is given to you, before that, any action is already completed, then you have to use past perfect. Next, never use past perfect without simple past. I just mentioned it. If simple present, SES, used with he, she, it, or third person singular. I clarified it. This is a very common mistake that the kids do. With Aditya, you have to use gives. My skirt. Oh, my skirt is. So always use with the third person singular the verbs that end with S. Is, was, has. These are the indicators. Does. So we use SS. Next. When we have future perfect plus before plus present. So the sun will have risen before we reach the top. Here we are having before plus simple present. So with that context, we are using future perfect. Before plus present. Very good one. So here we are using the concept of before plus present is your future perfect. Okay? Future perfect. So that is will have rising. Next, with all day. So this, I hope this is clear to everyone. I'm again repeating this concept that whenever you are given before plus present, always pay attention of future perfect. Although there's hardly any link with present, past or future, but this is the only tense where you get single sentence in which you are using present and then future perfect, because we are relating the fact कि जब sun will rise जब हम टॉप पे पहुंचेंगे. सो द कंसेप्ट इज अभी नहीं, जब हम पहुंचेंगे, बिफोर वी रीच द टॉप. सो वी विल रीच द टॉप एंड तब तक सन उग चुका होगा. जब तक हम टॉप पे पहुंचेंगे सन उग चुका होगा. सो टॉकिंग अबाउट द फ्यूचर, जब हम पहुंचेंगे. राइट नाउ वी हैव नॉट रीच द टॉप. So we are not, right now we are not at that part. Next we have all day. Whenever you have the concept of all day, always use present perfect continuous. All day also means the whole throughout the day you have been doing that action. So that is your present perfect continuous. That is has, have plus being plus ing. Next major mistakes that kids do is Holi is celebrated, Srinagar is often. So here you have to understand the sentence that where we are using the passive voice concept. Srinagar is often referred. Holi is celebrated. If you forget to add this is, so what it becomes? Holi celebrated. Is it possible? Holi celebrate करती है. श्रीनगर रेफर करता है नहीं. ये हमारी नॉन एप्लीकेबल फील्ड्स हैं. दैट इज दे आर नॉट ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, सो दे कैन नॉट डू द एक्शन. सो होली इज सेलिब्रेटेड, दैट मीन्स होली सेलिब्रेट की गई. श्रीनगर इज ऑफन रेफर्ड, श्रीनगर को रेफर किया गया. सो दिस इज, you have to understand the cake cut. If you write down the cake cut, केक ने किसको काटा? पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. सो जस्ट टू करेक्ट दैट, द केक इज कट और द केक was cut. केक को काटा गया. That depends on the type of sentence you are having. अभी काटा या पहले काटा. Next we have since 8 o'clock. अच्छा, there's a difference between since and for. So since 8 o'clock is with when you can't count the time period, and that is for 2 hours when you count the time period. So since for always use present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous or future perfect continuous. This is again I'm repeating the concept. Yes. Acha, one more thing class. When we are having the concept of by the time के साथ there are two rules going. By the time either has an action of, if you are given simple present, then in that case you have to use future perfect with simple present. But in case if it's simple past given, then you have to use past perfect. Please pay attention towards this. By the time के साथ हमेशा future perfect नहीं जाता है. If in case by the time the simple past is given, then you have to use past perfect. Okay. So this is what is again very important. Next, we have the concept of past plus future time. That is the by plus future time. When we are having future perfect, this I told you. Not only with simple present, by Monday. So we'll have finished because we are giving a deadline कि ऐसा Monday तक हो जाएगा. Had been solving past perfect continuous for 2 hours when plus simple past. So I told you when simple past is given, for since for is given, so we'll prefer using past perfect continuous. This is again a very common mistake done by the kids. Next, very, very important active tense that I was talking about is by next one, future perfect continuous, since for plus time period. So when you're given by plus time period and you're given since for plus time period, so you have to use future perfect continuous. But the same tense that I talked about earlier, that is, if you're given simple past and since for plus time period, then you have to use past perfect continuous. This is the difference. See, I'm talking about both the tenses at the same time. And when both the things are not given, then you have to use present perfect continuous. Okay, so simple to understand. First, make sure that since for ka indicator is always perfect continuous. If it's simple past is given, then related to past tense. If it's by or any time period of future is given, then related to future perfect continuous. I've given the formation also. Will have being plus ing and had being plus ing. Next, hurry up, very, very important. Many students don't even know these. That whenever your such indicators are given, hurry up, we're getting late. So we always use present content. Hurry up, we're getting late. Stand up. Why are you talking so much? So we always use that exclamatory expressions with our present continuous concepts. Now you are, if you have any doubts, you can ask me on my number, and it's 8383924576. Or you can directly WhatsApp. Thank you.